Welcome to the Shadow of History channel. Be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out more videos like this one. Max Schreck relaxing behind the scenes of Nosferatu 1922 between takes. The actor sheds his vampire menace, resting calmly off camera. The quiet moment reveals cinema's illusion where horror is crafted patiently under hot lights, grease paint, and silent anticipation. Sailors saluting a war veteran. Leningrad 1989 uniformed sailors raise crisp salutes as an aging veteran passes. The gesture bridges generations, honoring sacrifice amid a collapsing Soviet world where pride, memory, and uncertainty mingled on cold streets beside the Neva. Grozny, May 1995. An old woman leaves her home carrying only rugs and a portrait of her husband. Soldiers gave her 5 minutes before destruction. Her sons were dead, her husband gone, and with them vanished an entire lifetime. Tiananmen Square, June 4th, 1989. Students dance joyfully beneath open skies. Unaware tanks are approaching laughter, and movement fill the square, capturing fragile hope. Just hours before military force silences protest and reshapes China's modern history forever. Mongolia 1923. Queen consort Genapil stands quietly, last royal spouse of a fading monarchy. Within a year, her husband would die, the crown abolished, and 15 years later, she would vanish in purges, her portrait preserving lost sovereignty. Iran 1973. A woman smiles as she cuts her birthday cake framed by modern fashion and optimism. 5 years later, revolution would redraw freedoms, transforming everyday celebrations like this into symbols of a vanished, more open era. Mount St. Helens, May 17, 1980, the mountain appears serene, forested, and intact. 4 months later, eruption would erase this calm, flattening landscapes, rewriting geology and reminding humanity how quickly nature can overturn the illusion of permanence. Filming The French Chef, 1963. Julia Child laughs between takes, surrounded by cameras and cookware. Her enthusiasm demystifies cuisine, bringing French techniques into American homes and transforming television into a classroom where mistakes were welcomed, not edited away. West Virginia, 1960. John F. Kennedy goes door to door, shaking hands and listening closely. The future president builds trust, one conversation at a time, proving retail politics could overcome religious prejudice and reshape a tight national election. United States, circa 1881. Chief Low Dog poses solemnly, a survivor of resistance, alongside Sitting Bull. His gaze carries memory of Little Bighorn and the grim transition from armed defiance to forced accommodation within an expanding American nation. Unknown location, mid-20th century. Indigenous children kneel in enforced prayer at a residential school. Their faces reflect fear and confusion as language, culture, and family bonds are systematically stripped away under policies disguised as education. Korea, 1953. A mother clutches her son, newly escaped from a North Korean prison camp. The armistice ended major fighting, but this embrace captures war's aftermath, where reunion is fragile, miraculous, and shadowed by years of suffering. Los Angeles, 1991. Nirvana poses during the Nevermind photo shoot. Unaware the album will redefine rock casual expressions, mask imminent fame as raw sound and disaffected youth. Energy prepare to erupt into the cultural mainstream. Rochester, 1976. David Bowie stands composed after a marijuana arrest, eyes defiant yet playful. Even in custody, reinvention clings to him, reflecting an era when fame, rebellion, and shifting social norms collided publicly. Niagara Falls, 1969. The cataracts stand eerily dry as engineers divert water. Bare rock replaces thunderous flow, revealing the skeleton of a natural wonder and reminding viewers that even icons can be temporarily silenced by human intervention. France, early 20th century knife grinders, nicknamed yellow bellies, work hunched over spinning wheels. Clouds of yellow dust stain their clothes and skin, marking a hard trade where skill, danger, and identity were inseparable. United States, 1941, waterproof. Cigarettes are marketed for soldiers and sailors. The novelty reflects wartime ingenuity, blending convenience with morale as tobacco companies adapt products to conflict uncertainty and the rhythms of a military life. Stockholm, 1999, rows of computers glow as gamers gather for a massive LAN party before online ubiquity cables and camaraderie-defined digital culture foreshadowing esports streaming and the social future of gaming. London, early 20th century Mary Smith. A knocker upper fires frozen peas at windows before dawn. For 6 pence a week, she ensures workers rise on time, embodying an occupation born from industrial schedules and human reliability. United States, 1981, Xerox unveils the Star 810 workstation, introducing Mouse Guy and networking. Though commercially modest, its ideas quietly shaped the future, laying foundations for personal computers that would soon enter millions of homes. New York, 1910's human fly, John Jammy Reynolds, balances on a rooftop edge, thrilling crowds. Below his stunt reflects a daredevil age when spectacle, risk, and urban skylines combine to captivate an industrializing society. Stockholm, circa 1857, an early gym machine, bends arms through mechanical resistance, designed by Gustav Zander. It represents the birth of scientific exercise where health therapy and machinery intersected in the pursuit of controlled strength. United States, circa 1954, Clint Eastwood carries Olive Sturgis and Danny Crane between takes long before stardom. The image captures youthful ease on set, hinting at a future icon still unknown to himself and Hollywood alike. Moon, December 13, 1972. Gene Cernan removes equipment beside the lunar rover as Jack Schmitt looks on Apollo 17's final moonwalk leaves, bootprints among vast craters, humanity's last physical mark on another world. Port Royal, South Carolina, circa 1911. Josie Bertha and Sophie All Children stand as oyster shuckers, their small hands fuel industry exposing child labor realities that reformers would soon challenge across America. United States, 1970s, advertised long underwear promises, comfort for men of discerning taste. The playful marketing reflects an era when even basic garments were infused with lifestyle aspiration, humor, and changing ideas of masculinity. Dubai, circa 1990 and 2020. Once quiet desert roads and low buildings give way to glass towers and highways. In just 3 decades, oil wealth ambition and global finance transformed a trading outpost into a futuristic metropolis racing skyward. Poland, 1987, surgeon Zbigniew Religa watches a monitor after a 23-hour heart transplant. As his assistant sleeps nearby, the patient survived decades longer, proving endurance innovation and human resolve can defy medical limits and even outlive their pioneers. Japan, 1950, a delivery man balances towering bowls of soba, moving swiftly through post-war streets. His careful steps reflect discipline and routine, as everyday labor helped restore normalcy and dignity to a nation rebuilding from devastation. Romania, 1965, a massive Prometheus statue towers above Vidraru Dam, symbolizing electrification and modern power. Its stark concrete form blends ideology and futurism, standing as a surreal monument to ambition control and humanity harnessing nature's force. France, April 17, 1928. The Michelin Band performs at a radio show inauguration, turning corporate identity into spectacle music marketing and modern media merge, illustrating how sound waves began shaping mass culture in an increasingly connected world. United States, 1905, Sioux chiefs pose solemnly, their traditional dress contrasting a rapidly changing nation. The image captures resilience amid loss, as indigenous leaders navigate survival diplomacy and dignity in the shadow of broken treaties. United States, 1960s, Batman's special effects rely on ropes, props, and bold imagination. practical tricks replace realism, creating campy charm that defined an era when television embraced theatricality, over-spectacle, and invited audiences to play along. United States, 1995, a Windows 95 VHS guide starring sitcom actors explains computing to the masses. Entertainment bridges, fear of technology, marking a moment when personal computers crossed from specialist tools into everyday household necessities. New Jersey 1985 Action Park unveils a looping water slide, promising thrills within weeks. Injuries mount caused by embedded teeth and poor design. The attraction closes, becoming legend as a cautionary tale of reckless amusement innovation. Istanbul 1948. Boats crowd the water as the city straddles tradition and modernity. Post-war calm settles over ancient streets where empires once ruled, and everyday life quietly resumes along the Bosphorus. North Atlantic 1912. Titanics. Musicians continue playing as chaos unfolds. Their music calms passengers while lifeboats depart, refusing to flee. They perish together, later remembered for courage, professionalism, and humanity in the face of inevitable disaster. United States, early 1990s, a rare photo shows Marvin before his life-altering accident. The image freezes a moment of normalcy, reminding viewers how suddenly fate can intervene and permanently reshape identity, memory, and future paths. San Francisco, 1956. A worker paints the Golden Gate Bridge, its iconic orange. The endless task preserves beauty against salt air, symbolizing maintenance as devotion and the unseen labor required to keep modern landmarks alive. United States 1960s airplane cabins feature bunk beds for long-haul comfort. The design reflects experimental optimism in aviation when engineers imagined air travel as spacious, leisurely, and closer to rail journeys than today's efficiency-driven flights. United States 1970s, an avocado green bathroom overflows with shag carpeting and bold textures. The design embodies domestic trends of comfort and excess, capturing a decade unafraid of color, personality, and unconventional style choices. London circa 1935. A woman buys ice cream from a street vendor. Pausing amid daily routines, small pleasures persist through economic uncertainty, revealing how simple indulgences offered joy during interwar life in the city. London, October 26, 1965. Police restrain crowds as the Beatles receive MBEs from the Queen. Pop culture enters official recognition, signaling a shift where youth music reshapes national identity and challenges traditional hierarchies. Boston, circa 1919, a massive steam-powered fire engine stands ready, weighing 17,000 pounds. Its presence reflects industrial might and the era's faith in machinery to protect rapidly growing urban populations. Wyoming, 1885. Dale Creek Bridge stretches precariously over open air as trains crawl across at 4 miles per hour. Engineering ambition meets danger, embodying the risks of expansion during America's railroad age. England, 1914, workers restore Stonehenges, sarsen stones, carefully repositioning ancient monoliths. Modern intervention meets prehistoric mystery, reflecting early efforts to preserve heritage as scientific archaeology begins shaping historical understanding. Inglewood, California, October 1942. A woman assembles parts of a B-25 bomber wartime industry, pulls women into factories, redefining gender roles, while fueling the machinery that would help decide the global conflict. Kansas, 1910 twins Elsie and Layla Scott pose together, 2 among 17 siblings. Their likeness reflects family endurance and rural life, where large households anchored communities through labor, faith, and shared survival. Brittany, France, 1920. 3 lace makers work intently, hands moving with practiced precision. Traditional craft endures amid industrial change, preserving regional identity through patient skill and generational knowledge. Toronto, 1904. Smoldering ruins mark the aftermath of a great fire. Entire blocks vanish overnight, exposing vulnerability of wooden cities and prompting reforms that would reshape urban safety and construction standards. Washington State, 1920. A man and automobile set inside a hollow red cedar stump. The image celebrates scale and novelty, reflecting early tourism and fascination with nature's monumental remnants. Massachusetts, circa 1904, Raymond Schuyler poses with 4 children. Formal and composed family portraits serve as legacy capturing stability, aspiration, and identity in an era before candid photography. Galt, Ontario, 1974. A police officer guards a pharmacy during floodwaters. Authority shifts to protection and reassurance, illustrating community reliance on calm order amid natural disruption. United States, 1898. Nikola Tesla holds a glowing wireless lamp demonstrating unseen energy. The image captures visionary science at its most theatrical, hinting at a future powered by invisible forces and radical imagination. Warsaw, 1930. Museum workers prepare to clean a painting with careful precision. Preservation becomes an act of respect, protecting cultural memory during a turbulent century poised between wars. London, 1936. Jesse Owens arrives, celebrated after Olympic triumph. His victories challenged Nazi ideology and racial prejudice, turning athletic excellence into a global statement of dignity and equality. South Africa, 1952. A woman sits defiantly in a whites-only wagon. Her quiet protest exposes apartheid's cruelty, using stillness and presence to confront institutionalized injustice. California, 1953. The McDonald brothers stand outside their simple restaurant efficiency and standardization quietly begin a revolution, laying foundations for global fast food culture. Paris, 1888. Workers assemble the Eiffel Towers. Iron lattice critics scoff, yet ambition prevails. The structure rises as a daring symbol of engineering modernity and a World's Fair vision. Tokyo, 1999. Britney Spears poses confidently during a global pop ascent. Her image reflects late-century celebrity youth marketing and a music industry entering full international saturation. Eastern Front, 1915. Tsar Nicholas II stands with Grand Duke Nikolaevich. Among troops, the moment conveys authority amid strain as war accelerates pressures that will soon dismantle Imperial Russia. Russia, 1919. Women of the Red Army pose armed and resolute. Revolutionary upheaval opens unexpected roles as ideology briefly redefines gender through necessity and conflict. Germany, 1987. A police dog sits calmly as a cat passes during final exams. Discipline triumphs over instinct, highlighting patience, training, and the unexpected gentleness behind authority. London, March, 1921. A train passes tightly packed housing at Kensal Rise Industry, cuts through daily life, illustrating how railways shaped urban density and working-class neighborhoods. United States, 1956. A 5-megabyte IBM hard drive is loaded onto an airplane massive and heavy. It embodies early computing scale before digital power shrank into pockets. Milwaukee, 1903. The original Harley-Davidson factory stands modestly from small beginnings, emerges a brand defined by freedom machinery and American road culture. Newcastle, 1889. Stone steps, cathedral spire, and narrow streets form a dense cityscape. The photograph captures layered history where medieval paths meet industrial expansion. Chongqing, 1940. Korean provisional troops pose in exile displacement, fuels determination as identity and resistance persist far from home during occupation and war. London, 1937. George Xisses is crowned amid ceremony and uncertainty. The monarchy adapts to modern pressures, projecting stability as Europe edges toward another devastating conflict. United States, early 1990s. Eminem stands with his mother and younger brother. The modest family scene contrasts sharply with future fame, underscoring origins shaped by struggle and intimacy. Washington State, 2013. 19-year-old Maureen Kelly leaves her campsite seeking spiritual clarity. Naked footprints end at a creek, and she is never found, leaving mystery, grief, and unanswered questions behind. Los Angeles, 1915. Two young newspaper boys pause from work, ages 9 and 7. Their tired expressions reveal child labor realities beneath America's growing urban hustle. Moscow, 1954, a worker and supervisor stand inside a Stalin-named car factory. The image reflects hierarchy, productivity, and ideology embedded within Soviet industrial life. Cincinnati, 1974, Professor Neil Armstrong teaches aerospace engineering, casually guiding students. Few classrooms have hosted someone who already reshaped human history by walking on the moon. Leicester, 1950s, everyday street life unfolds quietly. Post-war Britain rebuilds through routine resilience and modest optimism amid rationing's long shadow. Ypres, post-1918, a preserved World War I trench sits silent. Mud and timber remain as witnesses to mechanized slaughter, honoring memory through untouched devastation. United States, 1930s, a family poses during the Great Depression. Worn clothes and steady gazes convey endurance as economic collapse reshapes daily survival. United States, late 20th century, Michelle Pfeiffer poses effortlessly, embodying Hollywood elegance. Her image reflects star-making machinery and timeless screen presence. California, 1933, a massive Zeiss refractor telescope stands ready. Precision optics push astronomy forward, symbolizing humanity's desire to explore beyond Earth. United States, late 1800s, a blacksmith works beside fire and anvil muscle and skill-shaped metal, representing craftsmanship at the heart of pre-industrial labor. Unknown location, 1910. An early bicycle prototype stands awkward, and impractical innovation stumbles forward, revealing how progress often requires failure before refinement. England, circa 1939. A soldier embraces his wife and children before departure. The farewell freezes uncertainty, love, and sacrifice at the edge of global war. United States, 1868, Myrtle Corbin stands proudly born with 4 legs exhibited, yet dignified. Her life reflects both exploitation and resilience in an era fascinated by human difference. United States, 1890, circus performers, the living skeleton and the fat man pose, together extremes of the human body, become spectacle, reflecting curiosity, cruelty, and entertainment norms of the era. Europe, 1955, the fattest man in Europe sits for the camera. Sensational labeling turns personal condition into public curiosity, revealing mid-century fascination with physical extremes. United States, 1946, passengers fly from Puerto Rico to New York. Commercial aviation shrinks, distance reshaping migration, commerce, and perception of space. United States, 1934, Hoover Dam rises from the Colorado River. Monumental engineering promises power and control, redefining landscapes and federal ambition. London, 1972, actress Caroline Munro smiles as scouts polish her boots. Celebrity meets everyday ritual, blending glamour with playful normalcy. United States, 1936, a migrant farm worker stands with his wife and 10 children. Hardship and perseverance define a generation displaced by economic collapse. New York, 1956, Park Avenue gleams with cars and confidence. Post-war prosperity fuels vertical ambition, transforming urban life into symbols of wealth and motion. United States, 1960, safety standards lag behind innovation. Casual attitudes toward risk reveal an era before regulation caught up with industrial speed. South Dakota, 1929 and 2013, Mount Rushmore evolves from rock carving to polished monument time, reframes intention, legacy, and national symbolism. United States, 1976. Farrah Fawcett smiles, brightly embodying 1970s pop culture. Her image becomes iconic, reflecting television's power to shape beauty ideals. Ohio or West Virginia, circa 1900. 2 children sit on log house steps, barefoot, and calm rural life unfolds, simply captured by a traveling photographer's fleeting visit. Paris, 1995. Monica Bellucci poses with effortless poise. European cinema glamour meets global recognition. signaling an international shift in celebrity culture. Portland, 1905, the forestry building towers built entirely from massive logs, celebrated as the world's largest log cabin. It showcases abundance, ambition, and reverence for natural resources. United States, 1948. A woman wires an IBM computer surrounded by cables. Early computing relies on meticulous human labor, foreshadowing a digital future still years away. St. Louis, circa 1910, paperboys pause for a smoke-leaning casualty. Childhood and adult habits blur, revealing working-class norms before reform reshaped youth labor. Michigan, 1893. Only 2-horsepower drives, the world's fair load. Yet its immense torque astonishes onlookers. Engineers showcase brute mechanical advantage, proving raw pulling power matters more than speed as crowds witness industry redefining strength in the age of steam. Germany, 1918, inside a submarine control room, officers monitor gauges. Intense silence, dials, valves, and dim lights reveal claustrophobic warfare beneath the waves, where technology, discipline, and nerve determined survival as the First World War reached its bitter end. Colorado Springs, 1920. A couple tours balanced rock in the Garden of the Gods, posing calmly beneath towering stone. Their leisure captures America's growing love for road travel, photography, and natural wonders during a decade defined by optimism and expanding horizons. Italy, 1906. Federico Caprilli demonstrates revolutionary riding techniques with his horse, redefining cavalry training by trusting balance over force. He transforms equestrian combat and sport, influencing modern horsemanship and cementing the Italian cavalry school's global reputation. United States, 1930s. A young boy proudly sits in his pedal car, imagining speed and freedom during hard times. Simple toys fueled dreams, showing how childhood resilience and creativity thrived, even as the Great Depression reshaped everyday American life. United States, 1902. Theodore Roosevelt stands confident, embodying vigor and reform as president. He champions conservation, labor rights, and American power abroad, shaping a new political style where leadership meant action, personality, and a relentless push toward progress. New York City, 1931, at the Empire State Buildings. Grand opening crowds marvel skyward, rising above economic despair. The skyscraper becomes a symbol of ambition, proving that even during the Great Depression, America still believed in scale innovation and tomorrow. United States, 1959, Elvis Presley signs an autograph on a boy's head. Blurring fame and intimacy, rock and roll's king connects directly with youth, capturing a moment when celebrity culture exploded and music reshaped identity, rebellion, and generational expression. Neue Galicia, 1925. The Galician milkmaid stands quietly, photographed by Ruth Matilda Anderson. Her traditional dress and steady gaze preserve vanishing rural life, revealing dignity, labor, and cultural continuity in a Spain balanced between tradition and modern change. Hiroshima, 1945. In the aftermath of the atomic blast, ruins stretch endlessly. Alfred Eisenstadt's lens captures silence and devastation, documenting a turning point where unimaginable destruction forced humanity to confront the true cost of war and technological power. Coney Island, 1939. The parachute jump rises over the boardwalk, promising thrills without flight. Though the ride later closes, its steel frame becomes a nostalgic monument symbolizing the golden age of American amusement parks and mass entertainment. London, 2008. Heath Ledger walks somberly through the city while filming his final role. Unaware it is his last photograph, the image reflects quiet intensity, capturing an actor at the edge of legacy creativity and tragic immortality. New York City, 1970. A massive steel section is hoisted into place on the World Trade Center's North Tower, workers guide it carefully, embodying ambition and risk, as modern engineering reshapes the skyline and defines an era of vertical cities. Peruvian rainforest, 1971, after a lightning strike shatters her plane. 17-year-old Julian Koepke falls 2 miles still strapped to her seat. Against all logic, she survives alone in the jungle, a story of endurance bordering on miracle. Utah Beach, France, 1944. A soldier registers prisoners of war after D-Day. Among them stands Yang Jong-kyung, a Korean forced to fight for 3 armies, his journey revealing wars, brutal indifference to nationality, loyalty, and individual fate. United States, 1947. A woman demonstrates the radar range, the first commercial microwave oven built by Raytheon. It signals a domestic revolution, turning wartime technology into everyday convenience and quietly transforming kitchens, habits, and modern life. Albany, New York, 1985. Mike Tyson prepares for his professional debut as Customado. Watches closely the troubled teenager's explosive talent promises, dominance marking the birth of a heavyweight career that would redefine fear, power, and boxing history. Soviet Union, 1940s, the 10 Lysenko brothers marched to war together against staggering odds. All return alive, their shared survival becoming a rare testament to family bonds and fortune amid the vast human cost of the Second World War. Paris, 1895. A train bursts through Montparnasse station. Crashing onto the street below, the surreal wreck exposes early rail dangers, becoming an iconic image of industrial ambition colliding violently with engineering limits and human error. Vienna, 1946. A former prisoner of war returns home, emotions etched across his face. Ernst Haas captures relief and exhaustion, intertwined, reflecting a continent, healing slowly as families reunite and Europe struggles toward recovery after devastation. United Kingdom, 1864. Queen Victoria sits with her grandson, the future Kaiser Wilhelm II. The image symbolizes intertwined royal bloodlines, foreshadowing political tensions that would later help pull Europe into catastrophic conflict. Lithuania, 1965. Young women debut miniskirts, embracing bold new fashion. The hemline's rise reflects cultural liberation, youth confidence, and Western influence seeping into daily life, signaling changing attitudes toward identity, gender, and self-expression. New York City, 1977. A bleak cityscape reveals urban decay, crime, and fiscal crisis. Graffiti and darkness dominate streets, capturing a low point before renewal when survival itself felt uncertain in America's largest metropolis. United States, 1930s. Early Coca-Cola cans appear compact and disposable. This simple packaging shift signals modern consumer culture, branding power, and convenience, helping transform a beverage into a global icon recognized across generations. United States, 1970s. Staying home tonight becomes stylish with cozy, relaxed fashion. This comfortable look reflects a decade embracing individuality and ease, where social life blended indoors and clothing balanced self-expression with laid-back domestic charm. Paris, 1969. Mini skirts and youthful energy fill the streets. Henri Cartier-Bresson captures movement and freedom, freezing a cultural moment when fashion attitude and post-war optimism collide in the city, long synonymous with style. United States, 1990s. Kids wrestle with outdated technology, struggling through tasks now effortless. The image humorously reminds later generations that convenience was earned, shaped by trial patience and rapidly evolving digital tools. Moscow, 1979. Circus trainer Ivan Kudryavtsev stands beside Gosha the bear. Their bond reflects discipline, spectacle, and trust, capturing a fading era when animal acts symbolized wonder, controversy, and tradition under the big top. United States, 1850, the Spencer sisters pose formally preserved through early photography restored generations. Later, their portrait bridges, time offering intimate connection to personalities, fashion, and family bonds from America's 19th century past. England, 1905, two women dine aboard a London and Northwestern Railway car. Their meal reflects changing travel culture, where railways offered comfort and elegance, turning long journeys into social modern experiences. Alexandria, 1870s, Cleopatra's Needle stands at its original site, weathered by centuries, soon relocated to London. The ancient obelisk embodies imperial fascination, relocation of heritage, and humanity's enduring desire to possess the past. Germany, 1861, a young Friedrich Nietzsche strikes a Napoleonic pose. The image hints at intellectual ambition and rebellion, foreshadowing a philosopher who would later challenge morality, religion, and the foundations of Western thought. Drenthe, 1936, two women and a child pose before their sod house. The humble dwelling reflects rural resilience, simplicity, and adaptation, capturing everyday life shaped by environment necessity and quiet perseverance. New York City, 1927, cars stream into the Holland Tunnel, marveling at engineering beneath the river. The passage transforms urban mobility, symbolizing modern infrastructure's power to reshape cities, commerce, and daily movement. Lingayen Gulf, 1945, battleships USS Pennsylvania and Colorado lead cruisers toward the Philippines. Their advance represents overwhelming naval force, marking Allied momentum as World War II pushes toward its decisive final chapters. San Francisco, 1908, a Victorian home is hauled intact by horsepower. The remarkable move showcases ingenuity and determination, proving that even architecture could be relocated when necessity, creativity, and muscle aligned. Kitty Hawk, 1903. The Wright Flyer lifts briefly from the sand as Orville pilots and Wilbur runs alongside. This fragile moment launches aviation history, proving controlled, powered flight is no longer a dream. Cuba, 1960. Fidel Castro and Che Guevara fish. Casually at sea, the relaxed scene contrasts their revolutionary legacy, revealing camaraderie and calm before history would define them as enduring symbols of global ideological struggle. Sydney, 1945, maintenance worker Stan Giddings paints the harbor bridge high above the water. Photographed after war's end, the image reflects quiet restoration, resilience, and the return to ordinary labor in a world rebuilding itself. Ruislip, London, 1946, a Douglas DC-3 crashes onto a quiet house. Roof after takeoff. Miraculously, everyone survives, including residents. Inside upstairs, a 4-month-old baby sleeps through the thunderous impact, unaware of history landing above. Fairlop Airfield, Essex, 1942, RAF pilot Francis Mellish calmly gets a haircut while reading during a break between missions behind him. A Spitfire waits, capturing wartime routine where danger, boredom, and professionalism coexisted between moments of aerial combat. London, 1902, Kodak's head office rises along Clerkenwell Road, symbolizing photography's transformation from novelty to industry. Inside images are processed, archived, and commercialized, helping fix memories in time as cameras reshape how society documents life. United States, 1966, Cher emerges as a striking cultural force blending fashion, music, and defiance. Her presence reflects a decade of reinvention where youth culture challenged norms and celebrity became a platform for bold identity and expression. Washington, D.C., 1910, Will Robertson rides a bicycle down the steps of the Capitol. Astonishing onlookers, the daring stunt reflects early cycling culture, individual bravado, and a playful challenge to authority during an age embracing motion and spectacle. Allach, Germany, 1945, Corporal Larry Matinsk hands cigarettes to newly liberated prisoners behind barbed wire. The simple gesture carries immense weight, marking humanity's return after horror, and the fragile first moments of freedom inside a former concentration camp. Budapest, 1901, a stentor reads daily news into the Telefon Hermando system before radio voices travel by wire, delivering information directly into homes, foreshadowing broadcast media, and transforming how cities share news, politics, and daily life. New York City, 1930, a steel worker rests atop the rising Empire State Building. Suspended above the streets, he embodies courage and labor, contributing to a skyscraper that would symbolize ambition, risk, and resilience during the Great Depression. New York City, 1930s, children sleep on fire escapes during sweltering nights. Their quiet rest reflects crowded tenements, economic hardship, and urban adaptation where necessity reshaped childhood routines amid the noise and heat of city life. California, 1886. A horse-drawn carriage passes through the hollowed pioneer cabin tree. Tourists marvel at nature altered for spectacle, revealing 19th century attitudes toward conservation, curiosity, and the belief that even ancient giants could be engineered for wonder. United States, 1930s, a young boy poses proudly with his toy car, dressed with unmistakable vintage flair. The image captures imagination and aspiration, where childhood play mirrored adult dreams of speed, style, and independence during difficult times. Bangor, Maine, 1982. Stephen King opens the gates of his Victorian-style home, guarded by bat motifs. The scene blends Gothic humor with success, marking a horror writer's transformation into a cultural institution rooted in imagination and superstition. France, 1997. At 122 years old, Jeanne Calment presses a computer keyboard key born in 1875. She bridges centuries embodying living history as modern technology meets a lifespan that witnessed horses, cars, wars, and computers. United Kingdom, 1962. Aircraft tester George Aird ejects sideways from his plane. Narrowly surviving, he crashes through a nursery roof, breaking both legs, illustrating the extreme risks of experimental aviation and the thin margin between innovation and disaster. United Kingdom, 1940s. A farmer paints stripes on her cow during wartime blackouts. The unusual precaution prevents nighttime accidents, reflecting rural ingenuity as civilians adapt daily life to the dangers and restrictions of total war. Niagara Falls, 1840. One of the earliest photographs captures the roaring cascade preserved behind glass, taken by Hugh Lee Pattinson. The image freezes nature's power, marking photography's beginnings as both scientific record and artistic marvel. Paris, 1914. The original Moulin Rouge stands vibrant just before disaster, photographed by Albert Kahn. The image preserves nightlife and optimism on the eve of war before fire and conflict would erase an era of carefree spectacle. New York City, 1957. A llama strolls through Times Square. Baffling pedestrians, the surreal scene highlights urban eccentricity, media curiosity, and the city's endless capacity to absorb the unexpected without missing a beat. New York City, 1964. 3,000 builders pose near completion of the Chase Manhattan Bank. The massive group reflects collective effort behind modern skylines, honoring laborers whose anonymous work powered corporate ambition and architectural transformation. Yosemite, 1900. U.S. cavalry soldiers stand before the grizzly giant sequoia. Their small figures emphasize nature's scale, capturing early conservation history when military presence helped protect national parks and symbolize American wilderness pride. Oklahoma, 1894. A young Kiowa girl faces the camera. Her expression steady, the photograph preserves identity amid cultural upheaval, documenting indigenous life during a period of forced change, displacement, and resilience. England, 1936. A group of children cares for a dog after its owner dies. Their quiet responsibility reflects community compassion, showing how empathy and shared duty endured even during economic uncertainty and approaching global conflict. Appalachia, 1904. Ancient American chestnut trees begin dying from blight once dominating forests. They vanish within decades, marking one of history's greatest ecological losses and reshaping the landscapes, economies, and ecosystems forever. Japan, 1980s youth rebel style, their hair like 1950s, American greasers. The look reflects cultural exchange, rebellion, and nostalgia, showing how subcultures recycle global symbols to express identity and defiance. Washington, D.C., 1967, protesters chant. Against the Vietnam War, Frank Wolf's photograph captures anger and urgency as citizens demand withdrawal, reflecting a nation divided and a generation redefining patriotism through dissent. London, 1966, Brigitte Bardot rehearses on set, effortlessly commanding attention. The moment reveals cinematic glamour behind the scenes, where preparation, charisma, and discipline converge to create enduring screen icons. United Kingdom, 2001, an actor dressed as Harry Potter reads the same book on set. Fiction folds into reality, highlighting storytelling's power and the playful symmetry of a character engaging with the world that made him famous. Egypt, 1890s tourists climb pyramid stones with local guides. The scene reflects early mass tourism, colonial curiosity, and casual access to ancient monuments, long before preservation efforts restricted physical contact with history. United States, 1993. Sandra Bullock appears at the start of her career, poised yet unknown. The image captures a moment before stardom, when potential outweighs recognition and Hollywood futures remain unwritten. New York City, 1984. Nicolas Cage and Diane Lane attend a Cotton Club party. Youthful glamour and ambition fill the room, capturing an era when rising stars mingled within a nightlife scene steeped in nostalgia and style. New York City, 1940, an Uncle Sam balloon floats above the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. The display reflects wartime patriotism, spectacle, and unity, when public celebrations reinforced national identity and collective morale. London, 1950s, circus performers stroll through Hammersmith Broadway, drawing crowds passers-by, stop momentarily transported, as everyday streets become stages where wonder interrupts routine life. Gary, Indiana, 1973. The Frank and Stein restaurant blends kitsch and horror themes. Neon and novelty reflect roadside Americana, where dining became entertainment and imagination flavored even the simplest roadside meals. United States, 1900, a woman takes a self-portrait using early photographic equipment long before smartphones. The act reveals timeless human curiosity, self-awareness, and the desire to be both subject and creator. Normandy, present-day Point du Hoc Cliffs, remains scarred by war. The landscape silently conveys the ferocity of 1944 fighting, where bravery and loss are etched permanently into stone and earth. Los Angeles, 1961, Audrey Hepburn travels with her son, Sean Elegance. Undiminished, the candid departure captures motherhood alongside stardom, revealing grace carried effortlessly beyond the screen. Amsterdam, 1960, Otto Frank revisits the attic where his family hid, standing before the entrance. He confronts memory and loss, preserving testimony, so the world never forgets what hatred destroyed. Japan, 2009 and 2015, American leaders bow and curtsy to the emperor. The gestures spark controversy, reflecting cultural misunderstanding, diplomacy, and how symbolic acts can overshadow political intent. United States, 2023, Craig's unexplained medical decline puzzles. doctors nationwide, despite repeated hospitalizations. Tests offer no answers, revealing medicine's limits and the unsettling reality that some illnesses defy understanding. United States, 1912 to 2000s. Ronald Reagan lives long enough to span Titanic sinking. And LeBron James' NBA career, the comparison compresses history, illustrating how individual lifetimes can bridge vastly different eras. Arctic waters, timeless Greenland sharks glide slowly, live in centuries with lifespans reaching hundreds of years. They redefine aging, reminding humans how brief existence feels beside nature's deepest timelines. United States, 1950s, Bunny Yeager and Maria Stinger pose confidently. The image reflects pin-up culture shaped by female creators, reclaiming glamour, agency, and artistry during a period often dominated by male perspectives. Moscow, 1980, the opening ceremony of the Summer Olympics unfolds in the Soviet Union. These games were heavily boycotted by Western nations due to the invasion of Afghanistan, turning the event into a political statement of the Cold War. Vietnam, 1968, Walter Cronkite interviews a professor in Hue amidst the rubble of the Tet Offensive. His reporting from the ground shifted. American public opinion, as the most trusted man in America, declared the war a stalemate. Japan, 1860s, a samurai poses in full armor for a hand-colored photograph by Felice Beato. This image captures the twilight of the warrior class, preserving the aesthetic of feudal Japan just as modernization began to sweep it away. Seattle, 1940, the MV Kalakala ferry cuts through Puget Sound with its streamlined Art Deco design known as the Silver Slug. It was a futuristic icon of the Pacific Northwest before eventually rusting away after decades of neglect. Wales, 1974. Glam wrestler Adrian Street poses in flamboyant gear next to his coal miner father. The visual clash between the gritty mine and the glittery wrestling world highlights the cultural shift happening in Britain during the 70s. Berlin, 1941. Adolf Hitler addresses the Reichstag to declare war on the United States. This fateful decision made days after Pearl Harbor globalized the conflict and ultimately sealed the doom of the Nazi regime by bringing America into the European war. Vatican City, 1878. Pope Leo XIII sits for a portrait. His papacy was marked by intellectualism and an attempt to engage with the modern world, though this specific claim about his circumcision remains a curious historical footnote. New York, 1977, actor James Spader and John F. Kennedy Jr. attend the premiere of Saturday Night Fever. This snapshot captures two young men of privilege and talent, enjoying the disco era's peak in the nightlife of Manhattan.